show what do you do for the situation in Gaza, just a little, so we can use the videos to advertise the show. So getting audience reaction.
I'll try it. My phone's rubbish, but I'll try it from the
Well, maybe are you staying for the show? Yes, great. Well, maybe we could get some.
Yeah.
Someone here. That'd be brilliant.
I'll come give you a hand if you need me. Alright, start me.
الأعزاء قناة عائدون قناة المحبة والسلام لسوريا والعالم. هذا الحفل منظم لصالح أطفال غزة لأهل غزة. اليوم سيكون في حفل غنائي في مدينة ليفربول ومشاهد مسرحية كوميدية حزينة جديدة للشعب الفلسطيني، الشعب الذي لا يوجد غير الأحرار العالم تدعمه. وهذا التنظيم سيريع هذا الحفل إلى أهل غزة. أهلا بكم أصدقائي الأعزاء نتابع هذا البث المباشر من مدينة ليفربول لنقل وقائع هذا الحفل الفني الداعم للقضية الفلسطينية. أهلا وسهلا. أصدقائي الأعزاء، هذا الحفل الذي يذهب ريعه إلى الشعب الفلسطيني، إلى مدينة غزة تحديدا. مدينة غزة الذي قتل فيها الأطفال أكثر من 20,000 طفل، وهناك الكثير من الذين المفقودين للأسف.
She's little, black hair, flat on one side. She might be sat in the sand, go and ask Sam with Frank.
This is your 3-minute call. The season performance will begin in 3 minutes. Please take your seats. We'd like to remind you that the first half of the performance is 1 hour, then there will be a 20-minute interval, and the second half will be an hour long. Thank you.
حفلة دعم للشعب الفلسطيني.
Welcome. Tonight we have Led Zeppelin, the Beatles. Right. I just want to say these words because I was trying to think of something very erudite and very specific, but I just thought, why don't you just read it? Tonight coincides with the anniversary of tragic events in Palestine on October 7, 2023. After the breakout from Gaza and the ensuing carnage and killing, Israel best nights and previews, then you pull the show because somebody stood the ground, which takes bravery and courage. And I'd just like to say thank you for turning up tonight, because you've shown a little bit of bravery and a bit of courage by supporting this very thing. Thank you. Now, enough of that. I have a tendency to waffle. It's weird that. And so I'm gonna get the stupid things that I usually would say out my mouth first, because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a thing that I do. So Everton are going to win the Premier League this year. There you go. There's the stupid stuff.
There was a girl before, she is my tomorrow. Lady Godiva, you and all your girls are why I sing, a soft-spoken survivor. You're my guilt-free passion of everything. I'm yours, right free. We went through hell, of course, came back home to me. You won't see me turn the other cheek. Drink up my sorrow and get drunk on my tomorrows. And there was a girl before, she is my tomorrow. Feeling innocent, feeling innocent, love to the brim, love to the brim, feeling innocent. It hurts, but all when people look so pretty in the sun.
Known as Methodist land must either leave or accept the fact that their homes and property will be taken by Methodists, that they will be displaced to undesirable parts of Methodist land, and that they will be treated as second-class citizens at best and as vermin in need of extermination at worst.
We're sure that this would be accepted by all the other groups who have made their home in Oxfordshire land over the years, since it's a perfectly reasonable and appropriate thing to do.
That's right. After all, the Methodists deserve a homeland. And they deserve that that homeland should be the one that their religious predecessors once inhabited.
One could argue that the Methodists already have other places where they have a home in which they are thriving and perfectly safe. But making such arguments an evil Nazi who is guilty of religious persecution.
Anyone who resists the creation of a Methodist homeland should be treated like a terrorist, along with their families and their neighbours.
Any amount of force necessary to maintain the Methodist state is fully justified, even if it means it must remain in a permanent state of war. If you disagree, you are evil and on the side of terrorists.
This should be the mainstream position accepted by everyone. All Western governments and their medias should support it. And anyone who disagrees should lose their job and or be kicked out of the Labour Party.
There is no amount of killing, ethnic cleansing, oppression, theft, and injustice that would be too excessive.
Because nothing is more important than making sure Methodists have a homeland in which they rule over all others. Methodist land
has a right to exist.
Methodist land
has a right to defend itself.
During Operation Cast Lead, Israeli forces killed Palestinian civilians under permissive rules of engagement and intentionally destroyed their property, said the soldiers who fought in the forces. The statements you're about to hear were made for breaking the silence.
We are all graduates of the G.A.Z.A pre-military preparatory course.
There was a house with a family inside. We put them in a room. Later we left and another platoon entered. And a few days after that, there was no other family.
One of our snipers was positioned on the roof. The squadron leader let the family out and told them to go to the right.
One mother and her family didn't understand and went to the left. But they forgot to tell the soldier on the roof that they'd let them go.
The soldier saw the woman and her head approaching him. Closer than he was told they should be allowed. He shot them right away. Killed them. Don't think he felt too bad about it.
The atmosphere, from what I understand from my men, I don't know how to describe it. The lives of Palestinians, let's say, is something much less important than the lives of our soldiers.
My company commander ordered that an elderly Palestinian woman be shot and killed. She was walking on the road about 100 meters away from the house that my company had commandeered.
I argued with my commander over the rules of engagement that allowed the clearing of houses by shooting people beforehand without warning. But my soldiers complained.
We should kill everyone in the centre of Gaza. Everyone there is a terrorist.
I don't get the impression from the officers that there's any logic to it. To write death to Arabs on the walls. To take family pictures and spit on them. Just because you can.
And when was this? 2008.
Sorry, I've got a lot of scrawled notes received not too long ago. This is actually the supergroup that no one's ever heard.
This is two pieces by someone that works at the Freedom Theatre that some of you will know.
Running okay.
Yeah.
So I've got that written down, so I didn't actually see that. Two pieces, thank you.
These two testimonies were written by Rani O'Day, a youth and child coordinator at the Freedom Theatre, which is based not in Gaza, but in Jenin refugee camp in the West Bank of Palestine.
November 2022. The boy with the golden heart is gone. It was the first shock. Mahmoud, just 17 years old, the first child from the Freedom Theatre to be killed. He was returning from school when the army entered Jenny. Children started throwing stones. So then, immediately the sniper took his life. When I found out, I collapsed. The news of his martyrdom hit my body and brought me to tears. Mahmoud, you were very dear to me. I knew your face as a child, soft without a beard. Even as you grew up, trying to show in every way that you were a man with a big heart, and a child full of kindness. I think of you coming to the stage and joining the workshops to have fun and play. I know you love to be at the theatre, even as you carried a cigarette and pretended not to care. Naughty, causing chaos. Your heart was big enough to embrace the whole camp, its streets and its homes. That is what hurts the most. The boy with the golden heart is gone. May God be with you, Mahmoud. I thank you for passing through my life and for being my student.
June 2023, Between Our First and Second Martyrs by Aiedoon. A few months ago, we lost our Mahmoud, and today we lost Adil. She was 15 years old, shot in the head by a sniper in the courtyard of her own home. Maybe they targeted her because she was documenting what was happening. Maybe. Between our first and second martyrs, 6 months and 19 days. Between our first and second martyrs, pain is renewed, loss repeated, and my memory bursts with features of your face. In the corners of the theatre, you were still there. Every time I step onto the stage, I remember you. How you laughed and played, and the stage would carry your dreams and imagination. You were always present with me in training, always ready for mischief, making others determined by your smile and kind features. Between our first and second martyrs, my eyes saw the funeral of Sadil turn to deafness, unable to speak or express. The eyes of family and school friends filled with anger and sadness, their voices with the screams from the pain of your loss. Which of our children is next? We are all targeted by the sniper. May God have mercy on our martyrs, our loved ones, our children.
Those reading was by excuse me, Rani OJ from the previous years. Now next is the super group you've never heard of. It's Aiedoon Jolly, Gail Farragut, G.A.Z.A, Mystery, and Yassim Halak, and Georgina. Who, by the way, some of these people have only known each other for a week, by the way.
And some of us wish we'd only known each So this first song was written in 2009. It's astonishing that I still have to sing it now. And it's based around something I witnessed when we tried to close down an arms factory in Aiedoon, which did eventually close, but the parts it makes are made by another bit of G.A.Z.A systems now. The chorus is based on a poem, on a set of poems that were given to me by somebody at the time, and the poems were written by school children from Nablus in 2001. It's called Red Leaves. By
courage of children is an endless season. Red are the stones in Palestine. Thank you very much. That's Georgina on cello there, G.A.Z.A on oud. We're going to be seeing a lot more of them in the rest of the gig. This next song, though, is just me, Jada and Gail, and that's only really because we literally put all this together about half an hour ago.
We don't know each other.
At least that's what I told Special Branch yesterday. This is another story song. So these are both written by myself. But they're written by listening to stories. They're not really written by me, they're written by the people who tell the stories. So that song we've just heard is one kind of story, but this is a different kind of story. This was told to me by the granddaughter of the person who was at the centre of the story, who's a man called Leonard Tilsley. And he's a real man, he's a real character, and he was, in World War I, he was a soldier, and he had to go and fight. Well, a quick quiz, guess where he had to go and fight for the British Empire? Palestine. We've been there, it didn't all start this time last year, as we know. And a couple of things that will help you to know. Firstly, it was interesting in that last piece about the IDF and trying to resist orders and finding it impossible, but this man, Leonard Tilsley, did resist orders. And he also kind of became a kind of shop steward for his regiment. He was a private soldier, and he found out years later when he got hold of his report card that the British Army had written on his report card that he was considered very intelligent for a working class man. So nearly as intelligent as Jacob Rees-Mogg, as we'll be discovering later. The interesting thing about this as well is he came from Staley Bridge, so there's another reference in the song to the song It's a Long Way to Tipperary. The reason being, as I'm sure you all know, that was written by Jack Judge in 1912, I think, in Staley Bridge. That's where Jack Judge came from, and somebody bet him 6 shillings he couldn't write a song in half an hour. And that's how I wrote this song. No, not really. It took a bit longer. Okay, here we go. It's Leonard Tilsley. My name is Leonard Tilsley. I have a shop in Melbourne Street. A sweetheart's Gertie Kennick, who in Douglas I did meet. Now called to do my duty, not to me the viper's blood. I'm to stand upon the Holy Land and baptize it with my blood. We fought the Turk in Basra, advanced the British line, left Mr. Lawrence and the League to settle Palestine. I wrote a letter to my sweetheart, said we're on a steamer back, but Aphrodite's Isle was calling us and the ship began to tack. And it's a way to Tipperary, it's even further home, and the man gets tired of putting up when he's weary to the bone. So I asked too many questions, refused to let things stand, and they marked my card as intelligent for a working class man. So I put it to my officer, as on deck we took the air, and he told me of a change of course in government affairs. My boy out for Cyprus, its beauties to behold. It's our duty to the empire to do as we are told. And 1919 came and went while Russia interbred. And by Christmas 1920, I was longing to be wed. We came out one day on parade and said we can't go on. The armistice is 2 years old, we lay our rifles down. And it's a way to Tipperary, and it's even further home. And a man gets tired of putting up when he's weary to the bone. So I asked too many questions, refused to let things stand, and they marked my card as intelligent for a called it mutiny, and we'd have all shot. But the CO, he was tired too, so they let the matter drop. I came back home to Staybridge, picked up where I left off, and I married my sweet godless lass in a suit of Sunday cloth. And it's away to Tipperary, and we were 7 years from home, and the land that's fit for heroes is yet distant and unknown. So we kept on asking questions, we refused to let things stand, and I kept the card they marked for me to remind me who I am. So come on, all you working folk, when slaughter is your school. When next they ask for cannon food, don't heed the butcher's call. You serve your fellow workers best with ploughshares, not with swords. And will
or the discussion is 1 year on, but you know we're all very aware that it's not 1 year on. I mean, you're a few years younger than the occupation. Yeah, and so I think I wanted to actually start by asking you to reflect in comparison how the year has been, and then but also compare that to, I guess, the experience of your lifetime under Israeli occupation. Like, just look at some differences and comparisons.
He gave me a very difficult question, and it needs a lot of time, and he only told me to be focused, and only through my whole life experience living in Gaza, there was no place safer than the other, and this is, you have been watching all the time. My building has been destroyed. After that, amongst at least 80% of the buildings of Gaza. The 3 days we spent in that small flat next to my, not my flat, I mean another place, we have, I witnessed, me and my daughter, and Muhammad was with us as well. The first few days they destroyed the universities, which was not far away from where we live, we could see. And wherever they hit in Gaza, it was healed by us. That gives you an idea about how the intensity from the beginning. Now we managed to leave, but my life, I have spent one month in Cairo trying to, but I have trying to do work for Gaza through the capacity of me being a health worker, and I have helped in foundation of Al-Aiedoon. People are solidarity here in Gaza. People are continue. Please continue, because you are here as well as our artists in Gaza are singing and dancing on the Arabic. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really hard to say no to your mother. I mean, that's actually been really great. Well, to my last question actually about the future of the struggle. And we talked about the struggle so far. The student movement is growing. We have like a moment where the crimes of Israel have been laid bare. Tell us a bit about the future and your hopes in terms of the movement now.
I guess there's a few points I could take on this. One is that we have been looking at our current successes, one of which is that, like, for example, the Vice Chancellor of John Moores University has stated that John Moores has divested from Barclays. We hope we can spread this to other universities who have been linked to Barclays and other unethical companies. I guess also successes for the future would be educating people, because we are the youth of this generation, and we want to learn from our elders. We want to pass on stories that maybe one day we won't be able to share anymore because of the occupation. I guess that's really it. There may be a few more, I guess.
And what about like the growth of the movement beyond Liverpool, but also reaching out to people that perhaps have yet to be activated? Not an easy question.
There are really good youth organisations across the Northwest. There is Youth for Palestine. There are SJPs globally, which is Students for Justice in Palestine. I guess it's all about creating that safe space for people to come and learn, for people to come and mobilise themselves so you can be activated, I guess.
Amazing. Thank you, Marianne.
Incredible moving testament there. I mean, I think I'm finding it very hard to articulate how I was felt about that, rather than just doing the usual emotional middle-aged man thing where the whole position is I just burst into tears. But generally, I fall into tears when I watch a Tampax advert on a Sunday when I'm hungover. Then again, that's a separate issue. So let's just take that aside. Right, okay, so next we have up. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got that. Hey, happy here? Beautiful duo. Yes. Donation hospitality. Give it up for the boys. Everyone has spoken before, but I want to hear more.
Our songs are by the folk singer Bob Davenport. He put it on an album 20 years ago. I don't know when he wrote it. It's presumably about a different situation, but it feels very relevant. So thought we'd sing it tonight. Police patrol in an unmarked car, while the major cheers them at the bar. Protecting his home, they earn their pay. We the loiterers run away. Here come the policemen, run away. Here come the soldiers, hide away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. Soldiers manoeuvre through green shires, welcomed by the high church spires. Kill the joy of the summer's day. Smelling danger, we hide away. Here come the policemen, run away. Here come the soldiers, hide away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. The vapor trail up in the sky, praise our bomb, the leaders cry. And if one should fall on that day, like snow in hell, you'll melt away. Here come the policemen, run away. Here come the soldiers, hide away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. Policemen, soldiers, the vapor trail, they tell the old familiar tale. In uniforms of black and brown, dividing us while they hold us down. Here come the policemen, run away. Here come the soldiers, hide away. Here come the bombers, all melt away. Here come all melt away. Beware the church, beware the school, beware the state, beware its rule. Never let democracy destroy your dreams of liberty. No policemen to make us run away, no soldiers to make us hide away, no to make us melt away. In peace we'll loiter this summer's day.
There's anything I can say about this genocide in Palestine that isn't going to be said in a more poetic way by people who are smarter than me tonight. But in such deeply troubled times, being in a room like this, filled with radicals who are doing their best to resist what's going on, is a really profound thing. So thank you so much for organising this. Song about a slightly different type of resistance.
And as dawn opens the world, bands and enforcers scurry abroad. Juxtaposition of innocent new day with the cruelty of snatching someone away. You know we are sleeping, our eyes are all closed. think they can kidnap people unopposed. Rightly they fear what we will think. People know cruelty when faced with it. Sing, sing, sing as loud as you can. Don't let them go into that immigration van. Sing, sing, send a song down the line. They will not take our loved ones this time. They've learned to be sly, to be covert and mean. Their race don't go well when they make a scene. Televised civility and well-heeled charm sits in stark contrast to the real world harm. Fast we are learning this predator's tack, roused by the urgency of the attack. A quick spreads the word, exponential the growth. A crowd swells emboldened by kindness and hope. Sing, sing, sing as loud as you can. Don't let them go into that immigration van. Sing, sing, send a song down the line. They will not take our loved ones this time. We the dawn chorus asleep no more. Someone is lying down on the floor. Someone is opening the door to the back. Someone has made all their tires go flat. Others do nothing but stand in the way. Hands on the bonnet, you'll not take them today. And out comes a sister, a neighbour, a son. No threat or a number, simply just someone. Sing, sing, sing as loud as you can. Don't let them go into that immigration van. Sing, sing, send a song down the line. They will not take our loved ones this time.
These are real people with very real lives. People who want to rebuild and survive. People who are loved, have family, have names. And the state would destroy them, some political game. Sing, sing, sing as loud as you can. Don't let them go into that immigration van. Sing, sing, send a song down the line. They will not take our loved ones this time. So sing, sing, sing as loud as you can. Don't let them go into that immigration van. Sing, sing, send a song down the line. They will not take our loved ones this time.
In a moment, book at bedtime. But first, this week's charitable appeal on behalf of the Jacob Rees-Mogg Retirement Fund. The appeal is made by Jacob Rees-Mogg's late father, risen from the grave especially for the occasion. The late Baron Rees-Mogg of Hinton Village.
Good evening. Testing, testing. Let me say right away that it is an inestimable privilege to be gracing your airwaves this evening via the clarion of truth and objectivity, the BBC. And what a heart-wending cause young Jacobs is. It isn't any old charity which would lever me out from under my marble plinth on a cold October evening, but a chino marble with a serpentine headstone. Ha. And from under that headstone, where I've been mouldering, and I have a very, very good view indeed, I can categorically state that, contrary to the rumours circulating, there is absolutely no sign whatsoever of his whaley war crimes. G.A.Z.A tower tunnels, yes. Hezbollah rockets, of course. Iranian as per usual. But Israeli genocide? No way! As the saying goes, G.A.Z.A. Yes, yes. So please, no idle chatter with the G word. Yes, madam, I mean you there in the second row. I know this is radio, but I can still see you there with the terrorist headscarf. Tittering away. Now, as most of you probably know, tragically, the avenue to public service is now closed to young Jacob, owing to the gross ingratitude of his constituents in northeast Somerset. Thrown upon the political scrap heap, he now unable to afford a regular supply of double-breasted jackets. He now faces the prospect of a job centre interview dressed like Frank Gallagher. Forgive me. Yes, but yes. Yeah, I've got my bloody lines. I've been learning them for 300 years in my mausoleum. Yes. Yes. I knew this afternoon. I knew it. Old age, I suppose. Anyway. Oh, I should have got a bloody prompt. Anyway, as I was saying, some awful commentators you get on the BBC, they like to imply that young Jacob started wearing a monocle at Eton age 14 because he is in some way affected. Absolute poppycock. What the great unwashed don't understand is that wearing a monocle expresses deeply treasured cultural convictions. Rather like the African Wasta likes to express his African heritage through the wearing of dreadnoughts, so Old Etonians express themselves through monocles and double-breasted jackets, and it is high time that these things were recognized as protected cultural characteristics. To argue otherwise would be, frankly, racist. And any pleb who affects to wear a monocle without the requisite Etonian breeding, well, it's simply a case of cultural appropriation. To conclude, I would like to entreat you to look deep into yourselves and to remember someone cast out. Someone now victim to the envious bile of the common herd, and to give generously. Thank you. Would someone tell the gardener to give my mausoleum a weed? It's a fucking disgrace.
In the words of my old daughter, get back in your fucking grave. And never come back out. Right, thank you very much. I literally had to stop myself from saying, the next line. Literally, the next line. Well, really mess with it, but ladies and gentlemen, there'll be some more music before we head to our interval, but just before that, Georgie, Asgard, if I'm not mistaken. Are you actually from Asgard? No, wasted. Nothing from it. Anyway, but before that, I forgot to mention at the very start of this evening's proceedings that the lovely Philip Garrett, renowned artist and sculptor, is he's donated a commissioned portrait, which is a first place prize in the raffle. The raffle that I never mentioned, which tickets are still available in the foyer, I believe it is. Can somebody give me a yes or a no? Yes, that's a yes. Hot dogs are not available because we've got a hygiene rating, which is a minus number. Always wanted to say that. Hot dogs are available in the foyer. You still love them pictures. Shut now. It's gone. No, the building's still there. Nothing in it. Wasted. Not even a bingo wall. Anyway, listen. So, just stop in mind, stop it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Georgina Ascot.
I was meant to be joined by my friend Alex from 2 hours ago with told me he couldn't make it because he's not well. So I just had to change my plans, my musical plans, and thought, what can I play by myself? And I've picked a piece written by an Italian cellist called Giovanni Solima, who I really love. He's very creative and he's written this piece called Hell. And I hope this piece of music will bring a little light in hell. And then I will play a piece, it's a tango, and it's got passion, it's got anger, and I think it depicts that love is sometimes hard to get to. So, yeah, Hell. And I will be joined by Xenia because this composition is written for cello solo and electronic tape as well. So Xenia, I'll give you a little note as well. Great, thank you.
before we start on the first half, and also we have just reached our intervals, so those people who wish to go to the toilet or get some refreshments, or buy a rapid ticket with the hope of winning an artistic portrait commissioned by Philip Garrett. Please do. See you at the interval.